Yeah, there's an interesting development on YouTube now where you have some very popular progressive news YouTube channels who spend all their time complaining about the Democrats and very little time complaining about the Republicans. The Democratic Party is presented as the party that is problematic in America. And you can definitely find ammunition on that. I mean, if you look at just one particular party and you're looking for areas of corruption or failed policies that they pursue, you're going to find some things. But I just think it's strange. Now, if you were someone from the center or someone that did not have any type of political ideology, and you were just attacking politics as you see fit, no matter where they were in the political spectrum, I could see that. But if you're a progressive channel and you're to the left of the current general politics in America, it doesn't make sense to me to attack the centrist party exclusively. You know, you would by definition of being progressive, you will find the things that happen on the far right to be very against your political values. And you would attack them more because they're further away from your political values. And the things that they're pushing is much further away from your political values. To attack just the party in the center seems counterproductive, especially since the far left is kind of it's just non-existent. I mean, as a strong political force. Um, Basically, in America, you have a right-wing party and a centrist party representing just about 100% of what is possible politically here. You don't have a really strong um, far left political party here, and that's really true in a lot of countries right now. A lot of what used to represent the far left, they're weakening, and you see a strengthening of the far right, and I guess a lot of in United States and Western Europe, you're seeing a lot of that. Um, so the strong democratic socialist parties or communist parties or anything that represented the far left are not as strong as they once were in a lot of these countries. And I think, but talking about what the YouTube guys are doing, I think the reason they do that is for views. Because when you look at the comments, and this is not scientifically studied by me, this is just my opinion. You see a lot more interaction on these videos. I think because there's not as much flaming, and there's not as much of trolling in these videos when you are just attacking the Democrats. I mean, because you're under the label of progressive, you're already attracting a progressive audience who want to see messages that are in support of left-wing policies. But if you attack like the far right exclusively, you're going to get a lot of far right commenters and people downvoting your videos and a lot of battles in the comment section. But if you're attacking the Democrats, those people would be attacking are kind of like fellow travelers for your channel now. They're there expressing their views in agreement with what you're saying against the Democrats. So you gain another core group of viewers who are supporting your channel, who are sharing your videos, even though they're not progressive at all. They're far right, but because you're attacking the Democrats exclusively, you get a lot of support from these people. You're in tandem with them. You're like, and they're fellow travelers for your channel. One of the things that's kind of interesting for me in this way. You also see them also advancing some of the ideas of the far right that they overlap with. There's always overlapping in politics. There's always going to be some issues that even people on different ends of the political spectrum can agree upon. Um, maybe crime is bad. I mean, I think anyone can agree on that, no matter where they're on in the political spectrum. How we respond to it would be different. How we respond to high crime, but just the fact that crime is bad, illiteracy is bad. I mean, I think I would hope to think that people on different ends of the political spectrum can agree on that. So there's always going to be overlap politically. But what you see now is these so-called progressive channels are starting to advance some of the ideas of the far right, and that they can kind of squeeze into a progressive platform in some way. Like you see the people talking about identity politics. See many the progressives that I used to follow and some of I still follow, uh, attacking identity politics now, which is problematic for me as someone of color, because the far right attacks the purveyors of identity politics on the left. So they attack ethnic groups who are expressing themselves and how they want to be more represented in society. They might be attacking feminists or people of a different sexual orientation who want to see their lifestyle be recognized and respected in society. So they attack these people as representing identity politics, although they protect their own identity through their own politics and express it in politics. But somehow these other groups are wrong, but their identity is perfectly fine. So you have these groups on the left also parroting that same anti-identity politics thing, even though they know that they're anti-democratic party now. And if you look at any of the reports or any of the I guess polling and statistics, groups of minority groups tend to support the Democratic Party more than they support like the Republican Party. And that plays out of all the major groups in the country that I'm aware of. Asian Americans, Latino Americans, and African Americans all overwhelmingly support the Democratic Party. Um, but advancing now, they're against advancing the rights of these groups, and there might be a difference in how we view identity politics. I mean, people of different groups just want to see themselves represented, and they want to see themselves respected in the public conversation. They don't want to be in the background invisible. Um, they want to be respected as a person. They want to have equal opportunity. They don't want people to excuse them just because of who they are. You know, and these anti-identity politics proponents are going back to the days when people weren't represented, when they had zero chance or very little chance to have a seat at the table. So it's something that totally turns me off. And then if you're gonna try to make a future left wing movement where people of all these groups who have a stake in the future are not represented, you're gonna lose each and every time. You're gonna have the right pushing uh, their own identity. Let's just put it that way. And you have the left not actually speaking to all these different groups at all, and just trying to speak to the group that the right has already monopolized. I mean, you're not going to get any traction doing that. If you want to, the future of America is going to be more multiracial. That's just the reality. And if you take the real problems that these groups are facing off the table of the political discussion, and you don't talk to these groups directly, you're not going to earn their votes. Unfortunately, people still have problems associated with their identity here in this country, um, and that's a problem going forward. If the right wants to eliminate these problems where people aren't discriminated against and people are treated equally, that's how you would fight identity politics, because it'll be irrelevant. But they're not doing that. They want to go back to the exclusionary days where people are not represented at all. You sit down and shut up. Whatever you get, whatever crumbs you get, be happy for that. Otherwise, you get nothing. So, the left has a lot of problems. The far left, they're just invisible politically. And I think going forward, they're getting the wrong they're not getting the right lessons from what happened here in the 2016 elections. Um, they're in a sense propping up the right, and the right, if going forward, as I see it, are going to be more stronger. There's only a few things that can actually happen to help build up the left, the far left again. And I'll probably talk about that in another video.